Welcome to this week's Prepared for College podcast. My name is Chuck Moore, and I will be joined by Al Hoffman and Gary Carpenter. Our podcasts are designed to inform parents of college-bound students about financial aid, scholarships, and paying for college without incurring massive college debt for the family. Now, today we're going to be discussing a big question family needs to know. Should my student consider a non-traditional educational pathway instead of attending a four-year traditional college? Now, for generations, colleges were seen as a golden ticket to a better life place where young people can only earn a degree, but also learn how to think deeply, communicate clearly, and prepare for meaningful careers. But as the cost of higher education has soared and student debt has become a national burden, families are asking an honest question. What are colleges really trying to accomplish today? Now, are colleges still teaching students how to think critically, solve problems, and develop social skills that prepare them for the real world success? Or have they shifted towards a business model focusing on enrollment numbers and branding than on a true education? Well, the answer to this question is complicated, but understanding it can help parents or students make smart choices about whether and how to invest in a college education. One path other than the traditional college track is obtaining an education after high school in a non-traditional way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass it on to Al and let him explain or define what a non-traditional education is. So Al, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Chuck. So when you hear these, you're going to say, well, of course, some of these, but then you're going to hear a couple and say, well, I hadn't thought about that. So let's cover the different alternative paths other than going straight to that four-year institution. The first one up is probably the most common that people have heard, and that's vocational technical training, welding, dental, hygienist, auto repair, cosmetology, uh, HVAC, air conditioning people, etc. Those are the path that quite a few people take, and it's I'm just going to label that vocational and technical training. And then there's the union track, the apprenticeship. It's one of my favorite jokes. What is the four-year degree that they pay you to get? So that's the union shops. I'm going to be a welder or a carpenter or a masonry person, and you start out as an apprenticeship, and you're getting paid, and then you go to a journeyman, and you go to a master, and then you're full in as your carpenter or whatever. So apprenticeships is number two. Number three, online career certifications. Boy, this takes the gamut. I mean, they're everywhere now. Google, IBM, Microsoft, and uh, other professional credentials in IT, cybersecurity, etc. These are the online career certificates that they're very popular. You see them advertised on TV quite frequently. Um, and then there's the start off where people will do the fourth one I'm going to mention is community colleges, your two-year colleges where you have that associate's degree, kind of a mix and blend of taking care of some of the educational requirements that the four-year degrees require that at a whole lot less money. So community colleges, the only thing that I'll give you a short-term guidance on is to be sure to reverse engineer that. In other words, if you're going to go to XYZ Community College, make sure that you know that the final college you want to wind up to, if that's where you're going, accepts the credits from the community college so you don't have a loss of time accident, and it really is constructive. The fifth one is military education, joining the military. That would be me. That's what I did. I went into the Navy and a submarine force, and I was basically an engineer type person. So military education teaches a whole bunch of our people a good, solid education in that career field. The next one up is entrepreneurship or small business training programs. And then the last one that most people wouldn't necessarily put into this, but it is an alternative to the 4-year education right away, and that's a gap year. Taking a gap year on purpose with plans that you're going to go build some houses for Habitat Humanity in, I don't know, South America, whatever, um, or something of that nature. A gap year programs. They focus on work experience, volunteering, and skill development. And of course, they expand your horizon and give you a chance to mature a little bit stronger before you actually go in to the traditional 4-year experience at a college. So these are the programs. There's 7 of them there that I mentioned. These are the pathways, and they're structured to help students enter the workforce faster with less debt and more focused skills. So that's the list of ones that I have. Gary, I'm going to turn it over to you to, what are some of the pros and cons here that we're looking at, Gary?
Okay, Al, thank you. Well, as many of you know, I'm the guy that runs the numbers all the time. And obviously, if you're looking at some non-traditional education situations, there's quite a few financial benefits. Uh, you can have programs that cost as little as $10,000 a year. Now, I say $10,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money. But when you look at 60, 70, 80, $90,000 a year for a college degree, uh, that's a drop in the bucket. And especially, it's attractive to people who, you know, they want to do things. They're not so much, they want to sit and listen to theory and everything and then uh, go about the profession that way. So it's attractive to those people. Now, the other thing is, you're going to get into the workforce a lot faster. Instead of a 4-year degree, you might have anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. And that means you're going to get back into the workforce relatively quickly compared to other people who are going on to college. That's more money in your pocket. And in the long term, that pays dividends because you're going to also at the same time be putting money into a retirement account. So you've got a 2-year jump on anyone versus a college degree. Now, hands-on learning experience. As I mentioned just a few minutes ago, a lot of people prefer that. They want to get out there. They want to do something. They want to do the trade. They want to do the work, experience, versus sitting in a classroom listening to professor and theories and everything and trying to understand what's going on. They like hands-on learning. And this is a great place to do it. And Al touched upon it, apprenticeships, journeyman. You start out at the bottom of the scale and you work your way up. And you can work up relatively quickly if you apply yourself. So again, it's a great way to get an education and at the same time doing what you want to do. Now, it's a tremendous job security and high demand. And what I mean by that is, I recently had a plumber come to our house. We had to have some work done. And it was just a small job. One person could have done it. And it turned out 2 people showed up for the job. And so they got it done in 15 minutes and they were about to go out the door. And I said, listen, this is relatively a simple job. Why are there 2 of you here? And the plumber says, well, I'm the licensed plumber, but I don't have a driver's license. This guy has a driver's license, so he drives me around to the different jobs. I said, what? He says, yeah. He says, we can't find plumbers. And, so I didn't have a driver's license. Big deal. They wanted to hire me. It's just an unusual example, but I was shocked when I heard it. There is demand out there. They're really looking for skilled workers. And another one is look at the opportunities as far as what's in your community. Okay. And what I mean by that, I'm going on a situation we have here in Syracuse. We have a large company coming in, a high-tech company. So what they're doing is they're looking for skilled workers. So they've approached the colleges, the 2-year junior college, and said, listen, we need this, and that. Can you develop a course for that? Yeah, they can develop a course. And the company funds part of it. So it's inexpensive to the people that are taking the course. And when they come out of there, they got a job right away. In fact, the company's waiting outside the graduation door to say, "Can you sign up here, please?" So again, it's it's a great way to start a career. And the other thing is, it gives you flexibility. You go off to school, you're sort of committed for 4 years or 5 or 6, okay, depending on how it goes. But you know, you could enter these trades, these special education programs. You could do it part-time. You could do it online. You could do it what fits your mode of life right now. And because demand is so high for these people, institutions are developing programs to accommodate the student. So again, it's it's a serious occupation you want to take a look at. Alternative education, non-traditional, skilled workers, they're in high demand. And I think if you have any interest in that area at all, you may want to look into it a little deeper rather than say, oh, I'm going to go off to college for 4 years and then come out and say, well, that was a lot of fun, but I just don't like what I'm doing and I've got to do something else. So again, don't discount non-traditional education. Yeah, well, I'd like to pass it back to you.
Well, a couple of key questions and steps to assist you in if this is a good decision or not. Now, in all things, whether you're going to the non-traditional route or the 4-year education, college, 4, 5, 6-year education college route, both of them are going to start with the same thing. You really should latch on to a career assessment guide. Now, high schools have the Myers-Briggs, many of them in the Naviance program. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then your high school doesn't have it. But a lot of them do. So you can use the career assessment program, of the Myers-Briggs system, and then online, I'm going to recommend the Holland Code system, and we use Career Dimensions for that. So whether you're going the non-traditional route or not, it all starts with the first domino, and the first domino is let's confirm what I want to do, so we don't have a loss of time accident because you can't get time back. Okay, once it's gone, it's gone. So I don't want you to. I don't. On this post-education, post-elementary education level, time is on your side if you use it wisely. So career goals are found or confirmed anyway. 80% of the time you usually confirm, and 20% you'll discover something that you hadn't really thought about. So career goals, first up. And it's been mentioned now by me in the first segment there, and Gary as well. And experiential knowledge as opposed to the wisdom or knowledge from a book. There is time here when it takes. Oh gosh, if you know anybody that does carpentry work, you can tell pretty much how long they've been doing it, because they could look at their work and say, "Wow, I'm impressed." That's experiential knowledge. Do I like to learn better by doing things as opposed by studying theory? The return on investment is Gary mentioned it, and that is, gosh, if you think about the time that it takes, even if you modestly save just $100 a week for 2 years, and you're that far ahead of maybe 4 years if a person takes 6 years to get out of college, yeah, you got 2 to 4 years worth of contributions into a retirement plan. I mean, that's not a head start. That's just out there in the ionosphere somewhere. Your growth is already way past what they will probably ever even achieve unless they save tremendous amounts of money. So return on investment can be really weighing in the side of the non-traditional education. Now, I'm a college guy, so you're sitting there saying, God, you're making this non-traditional thing sound pretty good. Again, it is the return on investment. As it turns out, if you go into the 4-year college, particularly, with the very, very demanding degrees of law or medicine or dental, etc., those things really almost need the book knowledge behind the experiential knowledge. So it's an issue of what is your return on investment for your time. And it's pretty good. It's non-traditional. I tell you, it's pretty good. It's at least compelling to look at. Am I motivated and disciplined? Now, I'm going to tell you, you might find this to be completely opposite of what you're thinking, but I believe that non-traditional programs actually require more focus and self-direction than the four-year education degree, the bachelor's degree. And because that program for your biology degree or journalism or whatever, it's all set out. You don't really have to think, you just have to do. Follow the follow the follow the bouncy ball. Okay. In the non-traditional situations, you're a little bit more focused and definitely self-directing. Um, and local options and online options, I tell you, there's so much going on out there right now because we are in the hole as far as having skilled non-traditional situations. So, um, and of course, kind of reminding you again, it's redundantly, but do I want to start earlier? Working. And so that's in there too. About the only, and it's a different set of cohorts, but that the only negative thing that I can bring up here is that I don't have quote the college experience, and the college experience is valuable. There's no doubt that you have a lot of character building and knowledge, and you meet and group larger group of people than you would in the non-traditional route. So you're building a cohort of people that you're going to go through life with in college. So that's about the only negative, because your cohort will be a smaller group when you do the non-traditional route. However, what are the positives and what's are the negatives for you? So um, it's really a difference. It in you're the independent thinker, the hands-on, the financial awareness, the entrepreneurial capability, the career action, the adaptability, the results driven. In other words, I can hammer a nail better than you can. Those are all things that are going to sit there and say, this non-traditional route has got to be thought about. And if you don't go that route, it's not a negative. It's not a positive. It is a personal thing. It is up to that person. So consider it. Chuck, I'll let you finish up here. I'm done with what this topic can bring to bear. So
All right. Well, thank you, Al and Gary, for this information. And one of the things I may add on this is that if your student wants to go into your science fields, your technology fields, engineering fields, and math fields, a 4 or 6 year college education is best for the student. Now, if they don't want to go through the STEM courses, and that is the science, technology, engineering, and math, then looking at the alternative route could really pay the family some big bucks here. So what we've learned today is a non-traditional education isn't a second choice. It's a smart choice for students who want to get real life work skills, fast entry into the workforce, and definitely with very little debt. The key is self-awareness, knowing your strengths, interests, and financial goals. Whether through a trade school or online certification program or an apprenticeship, today's students have more flexibility, affordable, and practical pathways to succeed than ever before. So we've mentioned that several times. Well, that's all we have today's in our episode today, but be sure to subscribe to our website. That's prepareforcollege.com. That's prepare, the number 4, college.com to learn more on how to pay for college with little or no college debt. You can also check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/the symbol at prepare for college for other podcasts. Also, don't forget to share our podcast with other family members preparing for college. And join us next time, and we'll continue helping you pay for a debt-free college future. So I appreciate everybody attending today, and hope you all have a good week. Bye-bye.